I think our goal should be still number one in Pulsechain, PLS. I think that should be the goal. And then we pray to the gods that we do 100 million in volume daily at PLS, like the Pulsechain. Richard Hart's going to come back. Lawsuit's going to be over. BitBoy's the goddamn sultan of Solana. So, I mean, he's connected with us. I think we are in a coma, man. There's no way we don't start doing $100 million of volume a day. I mean, we were doing $40 million a day just like 3 weeks ago.
I think we just got to start the snowball effect. What does that start with? These dank ass memes.
Think about the ETH that Richard Hart. Think about Richard Hart, and I know we don't want to think about having another man pump our bags and all that, but really think about it. Do you think he's going to invest money back into Pulsechain once the lawsuit's over? I think he is. So from that standpoint, wouldn't it be cool to have the number one coin on Pulsechain before or during his, spending spree on his product? You know what I mean? Faith, this being a big time top 5 chain, $200 million a day volume. I really believe that. We have the Richard Hart case. He's a big play in this, man, and there's a lot of money.
Yeah, I don't know much about how much people are how much people sacrifice and how much people are staking and the rewards that they're getting. But I'm under the assumption that if you're a big enough whale and you're staked, you can literally just dump your stakes or farms every day and you're still making money. So I feel like it's just gonna last forever until something big changes. But I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. That's just how I feel about it.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh.
That's the way the farms work. Like all the whales. That's what So if you're like one of the top sackers, you got a 2.5 multiplier. So you're just under break even right now at this price. And those guys own the farms on Pulsex. They just print ink, man. And that's ink is that's what is them selling ink that's what's keeping all this downward pressure.
Let me put in another example for you. I don't know if y'all seen a prank of somebody will be like washing their hair in the shower, and then they'll have somebody sneak up and put shampoo in their hair, and they keep washing it, and then they think they got it all out, and they put more shampoo. They think they got it all out, and they keep going. That's what's going on. We got like a perma rinse right now.
Dude, that
Shit
is
ain't
such
never
a good
gonna happen.
analogy. I've never heard that analogy used in that way before, but that is so right.
You feel me? It ain't never gonna end.
It's too heavy. Yeah, I agree. They've got a lot of money to take out still. Did you guys hear what I said to Staker Class in a space earlier about EHEX?
No, what'd you say?
No,
So
what'd you
if you
say?
take the EHEX contract and you go to Etherscan and you put it in, and you go to the holder count, and the holder count tells you exactly where the coins are. If you go to page 20, that shows you, there's 50 per page. You go to the holder count number 999. Right now, that person has 50,000 US dollars at these prices.
That's crazy.
Right? At these prices.
Earlier was remember in April when Richard did his ETH purchase and then he pumped to 14 million into into Pulsechain buying up shit, and then that instantly got sold through.
Yep.
We were for sack at that point.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying, man. If you're Richard and you just keep seeing your money being eaten through like that, are you gonna keep doing it? Even if we get the big he gets the big ETH pump, I don't know. I think the play's got to be different. He's got to think of a more roundabout way of injecting the liquidity in rather than just market buying shit.
I think there'll have to be some sort of external thing that's attached to Pulsechain that will help with this some way. Because at the moment, I don't really see how it can be solved unless there's just enormous volume and people are using it as much as say Solana or something to combat the amount of people selling.
100%.
What he's going to do with that money is going to be something so simple that it's hard to see right now. But when he does do it, we'd be like, "Oh, I wish we could front run it." It always happens like that. It's something so simple, stupid. It's going to happen though. I do think he's going to put the money back in. I really do.
Yeah, no. Even though he's gone on this unfollow spree, I do still have faith that there is something there that he's going to do to sort of. He's not just going to leave it to die. I don't think that that's what's going to happen. He's definitely doing in the background, but we just don't know what.
The ETH purchase was all sacrifice money. I mean, he can't that would be so up if he just took that cash. You know what I mean?
Deep down, he's a good man, and the money's coming back in. I truly believe that. And I'm not. It doesn't matter if I think it or not. We're still building. You know what I mean? We're still building on this thing. Who cares, right? I'm not counting on it, but he's gonna do it. That's my bet. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's gonna be really interesting. So time's flying. We're June, July, August. We got the court hearing that might get extended. They always do. Those things always get extended. It's never like any final answer.
Yeah, that's gonna be funny. Everybody shows up in New York for the meetup, and I bet you that shit just gets extended.
Yeah, exactly. It's probably gonna happen.
Pulsechain is so much different than Solana, you guys. Like, I was playing around over there, and people cannot hold the price for literally minutes before GDing out. But I think here on Pulsechain, we're built a bit different. Whoever's left, at least. We're used to holding our bags.
Heard anybody claim that Pulsechain is regulatory compliant? I mean, there's no people like what compliance could it possibly have? And so that was more of like a B2B kind of situation, right? Where both like two regulatory compliant blockchains made a bridge, and I'm just saying, like, I don't know if that's just as easy to do with Pulsechain. But listen, I could be wrong. I don't really see, like, I know people are saying, like you were saying, how, like, yeah, well, people on base can sort of like do whatever they want, like, especially if they're not in the United States. They kind of can't. I don't know, like, what do you think? What do you think explains the downturn that we're seeing on Pulse Chain, Pulseland? What do you think?
Price wise?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like I said, just market doldrums, seasonal doldrums. Capital's getting pulled out. Like I called, listen, this is like the third tweet on my account is March 17th, calling the Bitcoin top and saying that you're gonna pull back to 55K. That's capital being pulled out of the markets until they start cutting rates for they need a trigger event to cut rates. So this is just it playing out. It just takes months and months for it to play out, right? But Pulse Chain is not immune. I mean, the price you pay for whatever is, the saying. So yeah, we're gonna feel the down moves hardest because people are seeing that we're moving first, and you can move into other assets that are seemingly safe, but then those assets are gonna go down too. So eventually, people will flock back. We're already seeing some inflows. Global liquidity is at its lowest. It's about to spike. Rate cuts in Europe, rate cuts in Canada, rate cuts in U.S. coming soon, and yeah, that's where we get our pumps and then our tops. So yeah, it's just I think it's just normal. I hope we get to cleave out or carve out more volume, right, when the market picks up. I don't know where that's coming from. I think everyone's going to be working on it. I think the good thing about this downturn is people have to really think about their business plans, make some improvements, add features, do all that stuff, try to figure out what they can entice people with. So I like the cycles. I like the down periods are great. Like this down period, we added a whole bunch of assets. We have most of the popular ETH2s now. We're gonna have Solana, XMR soon, right? Before the market pump happens. Like this is what these down periods are for. This is actually for deving. So I think it's just normal cyclical or cyclical. My English is not great. Cyclical activity. But yeah, what do you think? You think that's a decent overview, or you have some contentions?
No, I don't think there's anything wrong with what you're saying. I mean, obviously, we're seeing markets sort of across the board pull back, right? But I also think that there is a little bit of like a flight to, before that happens, right? Before there, like you just said, right? Like people are going to try to fly into like what they deem as being like higher quality assets, and then those are just going to get each hit too. I think that part of that is happening as well. I think there's some kind of questions around like this community as well, where it's sort of become cool to do like the chain agnostic thing and all this. And I think that people are actually kind of making that decision that, hey, maybe not all of my capital needs to be on Pulse Chain. And you're right, like that is the perfect catalyst, like for price appreciation on Pulse Chain, right? For oil to come in and start like buying up like all these low prices. Yeah, for sure. Maybe there's going to be a little bit of a lag there. Like I personally think like we got another 30 days of this shit, like just like kind of muddling down and at these might not go that much lower or whatever, but I don't really see much of a breakout happening about, maybe a little bit less than 30 days. Like let's just call it like 4 weeks, right? So yeah, I mean, I can't ignore the fact that, like, you know, people have been talking about going to other chains, and I think they're doing it. I think that's happening.
Yeah, that's the same, value chase. Like I said, like some people are adding features, some people are going multi-chain because they want to maintain their revenue, maintain their volume, right? It's a healthy response. I would be more worried if there's an entrepreneur out there that saw a volume drop, a revenue drop, a profit drop, and said, "I'm not going to do anything about this. I'm just going to sit here and keep it the way it is." So yeah, there's people are chasing capital, and yeah, the reinflation will be interesting. I think the one thing is, I mean, base is basically ETH based, so the X's you're going to get there are somewhat limited if you're staying in the primary gas token. So that's where Pulse Chain will sign when it's time to do X's, and that's where hopefully we'll see the FOMO flow back in. Hopefully by then we'll have all those, like you said, some people are working on potentially bridges for the L2s. Other than like our quick swap services, if they can have that done before October September period, or yeah, somewhere around there, and have it tested well enough, those would be great. Because when the FOMO starts, you're going to want those things to be up and running. You can make some profit while you, or fees while you facilitate the pump.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's what ends up always happening, right? Is like the people who are sort of loyal to the chain eventually kind of give up, or like loyal to like a particular asset, sort of give up and try other things, and then, you know, slowly but surely it starts to come up, and then those people come back and chase the pump, and that's what creates that, you know, that price appreciation that everybody sort of looks for, you know, and the prices all get marked up. But yeah, I mean, it's sort of hard to ignore, right? Like where all the fees are being made, like where's all that, you know, where's all the capital going? Like even now, even on Solana, like I was hearing people talk about it today. I'm not a huge Solana fan by any means. Like I actually think it's barely qualifies as crypto, but you know, it is what it is. But you know, you have these like Trump coins and like some of these, and they absolutely like mopped up all of the capital that was sort of out there. And so you saw even like quality projects like all along, sort of start to like, you know, not be able to sustain their levels as well, just because there's just such there's just like a sponge, like all these like meme coins and shit. There's just like a liquidity sponge, and yeah, I mean, we always sort of know like when that kind of stuff starts to happen, that like we're kind of close to it, or like, you know, we probably topped, or like, you know, we're getting close to like a downturn, and it's just that's sort of like that last little like frenzy of activity before it eats shit. But yeah, I mean, um, I just know like the kind of the reason I came on today at least, and gave people at least a few resources to go look at, is like I know for a fact that like people are trying other things, right? Like certainly the downtrend we've seen on Pulse Chain like isn't, you know, inspiring any confidence, even though I can tell you guys like this is pretty normal. You know, and like the more you hear it in some of these rooms that, you know, like Pulse Chain fell 99% twice and shit. Well, yeah, but it also like went up in between too. You know, like it's it's not like it just went straight down.